It's my great honor and pleasure to introduce you our speaker today, our assistant pastor, Reverend Rosie Oberlies. And she is... I met her years ago up at First Spiritualist Church. And she liked to make the coffee and do things. And we all started out doing all the wonderful things for the church. And she's just has so much love and so much desire to learn and to understand more about the angels and the teachers. And through the classes, and she's just always so interested, inspiring, and spirit, always talking with her through her whole process and before. And I'm just so grateful to have her now as my assistant pastor here. And Reverend Rosie came to the First Spiritualist Church in November of 2000 and found and experienced a wonderful healing atmosphere. And like many who come to a spiritualist church, Reverend Rosie discovered her true treasure, her spiritual path. It's the foundation for serving humanity. She took many of the classes at First Spiritualist Church offered and was ordained a minister on December 11, 2005. Reverend Rosie Oberlies is a Reiki master and now the assistant pastor at First Christian Spiritualist Church. Reverend Rosie believes we all have come to the earth plane to learn, live, and express the spiritual life while we are on earth clothed in a physical body. Let's welcome warmly, please, Reverend Rosie Oberlies.
Thank you. Can you hear that? Is it better? Okay. Words from the like my dad used to say, orders from headquarters. I could never get nothing past my mother. So that's a nice little laugh. Well, today, this little lecture here was it wasn't hard, but it just had so many, ins and outs. And so it was kind of shown to me, how about let's do this? And I thought, I don't know, but we have to go with spirit and speak the truth, and you never know who you're preaching. So this is a little bit on distraction, understanding, and unforgiveness. But we're going to start out with a little prayer. So gently close your eyes, and I'm going to read Proverbs 3:56. Chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. I'll just let you think about that for just a few minutes. It's trusting and understanding and listening. So I'll bring you back now. I'll bring you back. And so one of the things was to trust God. It's very difficult sometimes because we all have a mind of our own. And it's very, very hard to switch from your mind to trusting something you can't see, and that you kind of doubt or question. But you really have to trust God because of all that He's ever done in your life. Now, sometimes we don't take the time to dwell on the goodness of God. And that we really should get into that habit of dwelling on the goodness of God, that He's blessed you. And you will recall so many lovely memories and blessings that you have not thought of in years. It brings back your past, the little hidden, beautiful blessings that you had. I know in my life, doing this, it showed me that in high school, going into beauty college, and I didn't realize how beautiful that worked out. I was just frightened, and we can't go by our fear. So you also want to feed on His Word. I found that we don't do enough of that because there's so much distraction in the world today, and we're used to doing little prayers here and there, but to dwell and to honor God, we don't do enough of. We need to feed on the words of God, and that could be verses from the Bible, favorite prayers, mantras, affirmations, commitments to meditation, spiritual books. Everyone has overcome in their life in no matter what. And we also have revelations that heal them. And so spiritual books are really wonderful, even if they're not in the same category, of what you're used to. And these tools help you avoid distraction from the world of stress. There is a simple way you can do it and maintain a daily balance in these uncertain times. You really need daily quiet time to offer a strong spiritual foundation to keep you calm. And you're not quick to react to your emotions, your stress, or disharmony. It helps to have a spiritual routine to be part of your day, to shut out the din and the throng of life, and close the door of your closet. You will find that after a time, you will have changed quietly. You don't realize how sudden a spirit can be if you're really committed to these devotional prayers and really making an effort through your day for quiet time. You don't realize the changes are so subtle. And it's not until you get in a situation where you realize, I didn't get upset. I was more calm. Remember that you are a spirit clothed in a physical body, and the supreme intelligence dwells in you. It actually lives in your life. It is life in you. You are required to focus on the inner spirit, not to be distracted by personal stress or world stress. The spirit of the supreme intelligence is within you, is always with you, on this roller coaster we live in and ride on in today's times. We are bombarded with noisy news. Seems like the unpredictable challenge interrupts and interferes with our flow of life. We are like pop quizzes coming out of nowhere with no warning to catch you by surprise and annoy you, as usually problems do. But what do they do? They check out our spiritual muscles. They see how we react and where we stand in our spiritual knowledge. We want spirit to be incorporated in our daily living. And they surprise you when you see how much you have retained and expanded your thoughts and thinking. Now, thoughts are sounds or pictures that pop into your head. They require no energy. Thinking is active choice to focus on a thought. It involves analysis, storytelling, and worry. It takes effort and energy. But do we practice them effectively and efficiently to see how much we have advanced spiritually in order to cope, to be calm in the storm of the unknown? Have we reached a level of faith and courage for these difficult times? Is it enough? Are we committed enough for a higher spiritual journey? Are we overly connected, concerned, and fret too much? This is my problem. So we have to be mindful, and are we using our own intelligence, our own effort, instead of going directly to spirit? What dominates our thoughts and what dominates our thoughts when we are under stress? Is it fear, or is it beautiful words of support from the Bible, or your own prayer? Because you yourself know what you've overcome. So that resonates with you. So when I say you dwell in the goodness of God, the things that He's done for you in the past, and they've taken on, they made a difference in your life. They made you realize how much God helps you. But we have to get rid of the noise of the outside world. Be confident in ourselves and what we are doing, how we are guided, and how we express that. Because you yourself are an example, which you show that maybe you've overcome something. And you have wonderful knowledge to help other people to overcome their problems, their bridges, their concerns. Do we let distractions pull us away from our progress? Are we spiritually neglectful, letting worldly ways distract us, rob us from the time that we need to be with Spirit? We've made so much progress, and now we need more sacred time for silence. Taking more time now more than we ever have before to be more consistent and diligent with joy and gratitude, of love, faith, and hope, to envision love that heals the world. It's a challenge to carve out time to refresh and remind you of the acknowledgement of Spirit. Supreme intelligence is with you always. You are allowing supreme intelligence to work through you for your benefit, and for the benefit of the world. It opens up and clears cloudy thoughts, opening to supreme intelligence, a new closeness to change your awareness, and alliance for spiritual power, the light that overcomes our cloudy times. For more truthful, trustful clarity and understanding. Nowadays we hear so much controversy, so much disagreement, people bickering and quarreling, and that really gets us nowhere. It does not accomplish a peaceful outcome. And it's going to change the subject a little bit here. I had come across Chris Audia, a sentient minister. He sends out every morning a daily bread. And this one particular one caught my eye, my ear, and my mind. And the thought was, it read, do not listen with the intent to reply, but with the intent to understand. Now I rewrote it as, do you listen with the intent to reply, or do we listen with the intent to understand? And there was a little PS, and be sure to understand the other person's perspective before you formulate your own response. And don't interrupt, only to clarify. To listen to understand the other person is the most respectful kind of love that we can do, is to listen. To listen tactfully, to understand the other person, opens a space where spiritual, supreme intelligence can come in and help you be diplomatic. Heaven knows we need that. And I was, at a young age, pretty hippie, but I realized way consumed coffee not to be. So, heaven knows we need divine diplomacy, to listen with true integrity. And the art of being respectful of each other is to understand the other person. Their beliefs, their ideas, their expressions, their opinions, and their humanness. We're all human, and we're not perfect. So what comes out of our mouth sometimes does not work. Now, if you begin to try listening to understand, sometimes it takes time to change the habit. It can be a new communication piece of territory. You might get a little impatient. Also, depending if there's a personality issue, but all the more good, because you might develop a better relationship. But continue the effort of good conversation and communication. Be kind with yourself and the other person you're talking with. Forgive yourself for being impatient. And you know, after that, after your first couple of times, you don't quite feel successful, you know, go into a short meditation, come back, and you have completed the experience. And then be ready to try again. It gets easier. It truly does. But it takes something inside you that there needs to be a change, and it starts with each one of you. And one of them is when you're with somebody and you get a little, you want a good conversation, but don't let it go to where you're not agreeing with each other. Pull back, take a breath, and just say, let's leave it alone for a while. And then sometimes you won't, you just kind of listen, and you think, I don't know if this works, but it does, because you tried, and after it didn't work out, you keep trying in your mind. It's where you're thinking and your thoughts come. So you're doing your homework here, and you forget about them. But the next time you see them, you notice a change. You notice just a little bit of change. But you've got to keep your eye on that little change. So, we have a lot of diplomats in our political world, and it's really, we're talking with each other. Oh, they have to communicate, try to work it as best they can. But we help them by us making an effort to have diplomacy in our friendship and the people that we meet. If we kind of flunk, sometimes we're dealing on the phone with something a little difficult to understand. That's okay. That's part of the lesson. Because that little opportunity is a lesson. It's a page in your notebook that you have to look on. And you'll be surprised. That person that is a little bit, I don't want to say difficult, it's just that they're not stopping and thinking. And you're showing them how. So, I'm not telling you what to do, but I just know that we need to be kind to each other and with diplomacy. And you don't have to be college educated. Heart and meditation. Now, I'd like to end my lecture with a little prayer. And if you'd like to close your eyes and just let this touch your heart and your mind. Dear Father, Mother God, infinite love, help us to trust you more. You have blessed us with life so beautiful. Help us to be a good listener, be open to understand others, so that there is no division, only unity. Strengthen our commitment to create a better world with unity and devotion. And I would like you to commit to that.